We are interviewing Coach Rick Squiers today, and he's the head coach of the women's volleyball team here at UNK. And the first question I have for you today, Coach, is the volleyball team has played 8 games so far this year with a record of 8-0. How do you think the team is progressing so far this season?
Well, I really like the fact that our team has come in and got right to work. Their mindset was very good. They've exceeded all of our expectations as far as work ethic and commitment and playing together. So, we just couldn't be more pleased to be 8-0 considering we've played some good competition. We had some question marks as we entered the fall season, and we've got a group that just really plays hard and competes well, and they want to get better. So we're off to a very good start.
We've played in 2 tournaments so far, one in Hawaii and one in the Fall Classic, which was here. Now we're entering a stretch of regular season matches. How does the strategy change between tournaments and regular matches?
Well, traditionally, we look at the first 2 tournaments as we just kind of go and play. And we're still in the process of learning about our own team and trying a few things. And, we think we have an idea what's going to work. But those first 7 or 8 games usually are a chance for you to really see how players are going to react in a real game. Once we get through those first 2 weekends, we've learned a lot. We try to tweak some things on our own side of the net, but probably the biggest change is that you begin to factor in your opponent's tendencies and you develop a scouting report usually for all the opponents that you play. We have access to game film, as do they. And so it becomes a little bit more about 2 teams being familiar with one another and developing a game plan and then executing that game plan. So I would say that's the biggest difference in that you're going to spend a little bit more time worrying about your opponent while you're still trying to grow as a team on your own side.
Okay, and now the team enters the early part of the MIAA schedule. How do you think the MIAA stacks up as a conference against the RMAC?
It's stronger. Top to bottom, it's stronger, and at the very top, it's stronger. And that's absolutely no disrespect to the RMAC. The RMAC, the last 2 or 3 years especially, was a very good volleyball conference, especially the East Division that we played in. There were 4 or 5 teams in that division that could compete with anybody in the country. What I think you're going to see in the MIAA is instead of having 2 or 3 teams capable of being nationally ranked, you're going to have 3 to 5 teams that are going to be capable of being nationally ranked. And instead of the bottom teams being, really struggling opponents that maybe can't compete with you, the bottom of the MIAA at their place on a given night, you don't come to play, they can beat you. So it will be a challenge for our program and one that hopefully will make us a better team by the end of the season.
Okay, and the beginning of the MIAA schedule started last night when we played at Fort Hays State, which we won in straight sets. What can you take away from that victory last night?
Well, I like the fact that our team went down there and took a business-minded approach. Hays is a scary place to play if things go the wrong direction early. They had a huge crowd, and it could have been an extremely tough environment. It was hot, no air conditioned, big crowd, it was loud. Hays does have some athletes, and we did exactly what you need to do in that situation, which was get off to a great start. We won the first set 25-7. Then the doubts begin to creep in that, maybe they just can't do this on this particular night. And so we played well early in every set. I think we were ahead by at least 3 or 4 points when we got to 10 in every set. And so I think our team gets it. Now, we also understand that it's not going to be like that everywhere we go. I mean, this coming weekend could be a different story, but we're happy to get off to a good start and get our first MIAA win.
Yeah, speaking of this coming weekend, we travel to Pitt State for a Friday game and then to Central Oklahoma for a Saturday game. How do you think our team matches up against those two?
Well, this one's a little bit like the old RMAC trips. I mean, you sit on the bus for a while. You got two schools that aren't very close together. Tough environments. We've watched a pretty good amount of film on Pitt State. Have yet to watch as much on Central, but we will. Both of these teams are going to be a little stiffer opponent than what we saw down at Fort Hays. Pitt State, I believe, is 7-2. They have some good wins. They're very athletic. They're long. They run a 6'2". They have one of the most dynamic outside hitters in the conference in one of their freshmen. So, going to be a tough one Friday night, regardless of what you do Friday. And I think I originally thought maybe that Pitt would be the big one this weekend when I looked at the two, because Central Oklahoma, I think, had a much lesser record and had only won a couple of matches. But then I see last night Central Oklahoma beat Pitt at Pitt. So we're going to go down here expecting that we're going to have our hands full with both opponents, and we're going to have to play well if we want to expect to get a win.
Okay, thanks, Coach Squiers, and this concludes the interview.
Thank you.